Welcome to Elevate, Create Campaign Spotlight on Diverse Business Owners. Special thanks to our show sponsors, Koch Industries and Fidelity Bank. This is our Heart and Hustle episode where we will be meeting several business owners who are providing inspiration to help others achieve and go even further in their businesses. And here to kick things off on this episode of Elevate are the fellas from Fusionz Barbershop. We've got Alex, Jeremy, and Eric. Welcome to the show, you all.
Thank you.
You know, when we talk about going on an entrepreneurship journey, starting a business, that is definitely something that really tests our resolve. It shows us things about ourselves that maybe we didn't know were there. Tell us how you started.
As soon as I got out of high school, I didn't know what I was gonna do. My barber wanted me to become a barber. He kept on telling me, come on, go to school, you're a fast learner, you'll get it. And I gave it a shot. I went to school, I learned how to cut hair. It was kind of challenging because I didn't know what I was doing. But after those 6-9 months learning how to cut hair, I ended up working at his barbershop. And I was there for about 5 to 6 months. And then I had asked myself what else would I want to do. Instead of just working for him, I wanted to do my own thing, and I thought I was ready to open up my own business.
So that is a big jump, working for someone to actually becoming your own boss. Do you have entrepreneurs in your family, or how did you know that you had it in you to start a business?
For me, I looked at it as it was kind of hard because it's just a lot of money to start a business, and it's just investing, $15,000 to $20,000. And it's just like if it's gonna work, it's not gonna work, or you're gonna lose this money.
Yeah, it's a gamble.
But I thought I could do it. I had a good clientele. One thing started a business, depending on what you're doing. For me, it's barbering, so I had a clientele. I knew I was able to make enough money to pay for the bills, and I just wanted to start small and then go big.
Start small and then go big. Tell us through that journey some of the trials that you had to overcome.
At first, you had to build a clientele for the business. You just can't start off opening up a business and having workers coming in there and cut hair when there's no clients.
Yeah.
I had to build a clientele first.
What were some of the strategies you used to build that clientele?
I did a lot of promo, social media, talking to people face to face.
Those are some good ways to be able to build that. But building that trust, I mean, you are working on people's hair. You're working on their looks, their images. I often hear that the barbershop chair is a therapeutic chair. It's a place where people come not only to look good, but also to feel good. Tell us about the client experience you created through Fusionz.
Well, through our clients, we see tons of faces.
Yeah.
We get all the kids, everybody you can think of come get a haircut. For us, our barbershop, we cut all the kids. There's most barbers that don't like cutting kids just because it's a hassle. But we do it all.
It sounds like you do. Why did you name your company Fusionz Barbershop? What's Fusionz about?
I had a whole list of names.
Yeah.
Fusionz is definition is 2 in 1. I was gonna do barbers and cosmetologists. We're working on doing the cosmetologists right now. It's just hard to find actual people that want to work in a barbershop. For a woman that wants to work with barbers it's kind of hard, but now it's a new thing nowadays, so
That's right.
we're trying to change it up a little bit.
That's right. Now, changing it up, I mean, I'm looking at your branding, the embroidery. Tell me about how important presentation is to you.
Now being a business owner, you want to just brand yourself, I mean, I have shirts, hoodies, I mean, stuff like this,
Yeah.
People want to ask you, what's Fusionz? What, you're a barber, so when I go to Walmart or any kind of store, they always ask me, you're a tattoo artist? I'm like, no, I'm a barber. Here's my business card.
Yeah.
And they end up coming to the barbershop getting a haircut. So
Wow. So you've made it this far. Obviously, the whole world took a hit when COVID happened. Tell
Yes.
about some of the successes or some of the lessons that you learned in order to continue to stay in business, particularly in this industry through COVID.
All right, so we had took a hit to COVID. It was about 2 months shut down. No one was able to cut hair. For us barbers, we learn we get money every day. You gotta be responsible on how you maintain your money. Um, my guys, they took a loss. I mean, some they need that money every week, to
Right.
pay the bills.
Right.
The lifestyle they live is, I'm sure it's expensive. So for some of us, we know how to save money. I had to dig into my savings just to pay the bills.
Yeah.
That's money that I don't touch just for the future. If I want to do something else, but. It didn't really hit as much once we opened up. I mean, everybody was ready to get haircuts. We were so busy within that whole month. I mean,
Yes, you were.
these guys made double the money in just 1 week.
Wow.
But we had to do a lot of things to COVID. It was a lot different. It's not as busy as you can have so many people in. It was a limit. We had to clean our tools every time and stuff like that. So it was just it was a lot different from the actual being in the barbershop. It was just way different. But
Yeah. We've seen a lot, and going into this fall, it seems like, we're reopening, people are getting vaccinated, and now it looks like there's an opportunity to not return to how it used to be from all the things that we've learned, but to maybe build back better. What does better look like for Fusionz? What do you have coming up next?
now we're trying to work on a third location. My plans is for next year that I've been in business for 6 years. I want to buy my own properties and invest in stuff like that. I want to open up my third location here on west side of Wichita. I have 2 locations right now.
Where
Um,
are they?
Pawnee and Seneca is 2017 South Seneca, and then our second location's on the east side, which is 3920 East Harry. You
That's
can find us
incredible.
on Google, stuff like that.
That is incredible. Some people, as business owners, they get their thing done well in one spot,
Yeah.
and looking to grow or scale looks really intimidated. What keeps you going?
From where I started, if you're from Wichita, you know where Broadway's at. I started on Harry and Broadway. When people think of Harry and Broadway, it's just a bad area.
Yeah.
Um, I was there for 2 years. I had a barbershop there for 2 years. That's where I first started.
Wow.
I had about 12 barbers working there. So when you walk into a barbershop on a Broadway area, and they walk into my shop, it's like, man, this is a nice barbershop, but it's in a bad area. But we had more customers coming, and I look at that, and I was just like, man, if I could start here in a bad area, I could start anywhere.
Man, you said it. And you know what? In these so-called bad areas, when we're able to build business and build strong business, we're not only helping the people inside of our companies, but we're
Yes.
also telling the neighborhood that we are worthy in those areas of investment as well.
Yes.
When you look at how far you've come and where you are now, what do you hope people see in you?
I just want to inspire people. As me starting at a young age, I mean, I'm only 25,
You're only 25?
25 years old. I just had my first baby.
Oh, congratulations.
I look at things differently now, so I just want to inspire people. I know I have people that look up to me.
Yep.
People that I went to school with, high school, they look at me like I'm just somebody big here, I'm just me.
You just, yeah.
But yeah, I just want to inspire people. I mean, I have a lot of people that just want to be a barber. Like, you can do more than just being a barber. You just
You
gotta,
became an owner.
yeah,
That's dope.
you just gotta follow your dreams.
That's right. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you.
COVID reinforced many valuable lessons, including the importance of doing our part to look out for one another. People ages 12 and older are now eligible to receive the COVID-19 vaccine. There's questions mostly about the types of vaccine options, potential side effects, and availability. That's why it's important to do some research and let those facts help you make an informed decision. Please don't wait. Now's the time to vaccinate. Visit voicesonvaccinations.org to learn more. Now that's good looking out.
Welcome back. We are now here with the owner of the Right Moves and Halls, Kevin Phillips Jr. And one thing about this young man, he is always on the move. In fact, you had a job this morning and he's here with us today. Kevin, welcome to Elevate.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Now, it's been a few years that we've known each other.
Correct.
And when I first met you, One thing that really stood out about you is just how hungry you are to win. Can you tell us a little bit about where that hunger comes from and where you come from?
So, how's everybody doing? Grand Rising, everyone. So, I started with my grandfather. It comes from my grandfather and my grandmother, being raised by the elders and community raising. So, it really was a community thing who really took part, in my upbringing. My grandparents, like I said, I was raised by them. They owned multiple businesses. So, as I got older and got into the workforce, it was kind of, it was just kind of difficult because I was not used to working a 9 to 5 as far as under somebody else's leadership outside of family businesses. So,
Yeah.
so it was different. It was very much different, but I'm grateful for the skills and things that he instilled in me while I was young, because that's what took me further now in life as I've grown up.
Absolutely. One thing that you have shared and you continue to share is it's really important for you to be a blessing and not a burden.
That's right.
It's more than a tagline for your company, but it's really a way that you do life. Where did that come from?
So it stems from when I was 17, I went and done a little bit of time of incarceration. And during that time of incarceration, I learned who I was as a man, as a young man, where I would stand in society once I gained my freedom back, and the things that I would want to do for society once I got that second chance. So when I started my business, The Right Moves in Halls, and came up with the slogan or motto, to be a blessing, not a burden, it's just really because in the world that we live in, you know, you can really burden somebody and it can just turn off a lot of things. You could turn off, it could like make it hard for you to network in business, network in your personal life, stunt your growth, just a whole lot of different things, you know, burn bridges, that type of thing. So instead of being a burden to people, I wanted to be a blessing. I know what it's like to be destructive, so I wanted to know what it was like to build. Not only just build myself, but build the community and those around me. So that was the goal as far as the motto, to be a blessing and not a burden.
Man, that's deep, because on any day, so many of us in our lives, whether we're business owners or not, we can always look at the struggles, the trials, and just stay there in that bad mind frame. But one thing about you, anytime you come around, you have a word of inspiration, you have a word of encouragement, and
humble.
it stands out. It makes you stand out. When you think about how you run your business, what are some tips or some techniques that you use in order to make sure that you are on that path of success?
So first and foremost, I put my pride to the side and reach out to my mentor. So for the world, this is my mentor. She is the one who got me started, you know. So it wouldn't be right for me to have this conversation without acknowledging, you know, the one who got me started in the first place. So get around people that want to see you succeed, first off. That's what I would say. Know what it is that you want to do and be genuine about that. When people see that you're genuine about things that you want to do, whether it be business or your personal life, then you'll have people that are more willing to help, or, you know, would be willing to help see you through to the next level. Yeah. So I would say put your pride to the side. If you don't know something, ask. It's better to ask in the beginning than to find out later on you got an insurance claim or it just all goes bad. I would say to any entrepreneur these days, it is hard. You know, COVID is really taking a toll on a lot of businesses, but the one thing that I learned from the Prosper class that she held was be adaptable. You have to be able to adapt. So I have a moving and hauling company, so when COVID hit, I lost close to like $80,000 in moves.
My goodness.
And I could just see my business dwindling, and she can tell you, I called her, ready to pull my hair out, but I remember what the brother Darius Wright had taught us in class, be adaptable. So not only do I do moving and hauling, but I do junk removal and a number of odd things along different trades. So no matter 365, my business can stay running.
That's right. That's right. And again, you don't stop, but you've built in time to rest. How important is rest, considering all the things that you're trying to accomplish, not just for yourself, but for your family as well?
Rest is man, listen, rest is detrimental. It is key, it is dire. Not resting can cost you your life. I had a real bad wreck, running 3 days straight, no sleep. And the guy who I rented the truck from told me as I walked in, like, hey, man, you look really exhausted. Now, you've been in here 3 days getting this truck. You sure you want to rent this? And, man, listen, I got a deadline. He's like, okay. Well, 30 minutes later, I had a wreck in that truck because I fell asleep at the wheel.
Oh, my goodness.
Rest is very important. You know, by the grace of God, I'm still here.
Yep.
And I took that as my warning.
Yeah.
Take time for yourself. And there's nothing wrong with resetting. I had to learn that too. And I had to go to my mentor and say, I need something. She's just take some time and reset. So take some time for yourself, reset. No matter what, the job will get done if you're dedicated to the job.
You said that. You keep talking about this mentor thing. I gain so much from you, seriously, because, again, we hear get around like-minded people, but you also need people who will challenge you, and you've challenged me back. And it's been in a good, positive way. It's helped to go and take this work to the next level. When you think about your next level, share a little insight. Where is the Right Moves and Halls going?
So as of, I would say last week, I just got a phone call that pretty much shifted the dynamics of my business to where I have to now subcontract out pretty much all of my moves.
Wow.
Because I have about 10 demo jobs that just landed in my lap. Like all the bids were accepted. And so this work will keep me busy till December.
Very good.
So
congratulations.
Thank you. So like I would say to anybody, it's gonna be rough in the very beginning. That's business, that's life. Anything that you wanna do, whether it's school or whatever, if it's unfamiliar territory, it's gonna be rough. But if it's what you wanna do, only the strong survive. So if that's really what you wanna do, you will find a way to make it happen. I went to school, I was going to school, I worked at Spirit and was starting this business all at once. And I remember she was like, when are you gonna have time? And I would tell, I don't know, but I'm gonna find time. There's things that I want in this life that cannot be held down and cannot be stopped. So I'm not gonna be the reason why they stop.
And there you have it. Heart and Hustle, Kevin Phillips Jr., The Right Moves and Halls. We'll be back.
Thank you.
Anything that you've created your own solution for, that's probably marketable.
I legit want to change the world. I want to do my part.
Be open to feedback, but also stick with your mission and your values.
And we're back. Joining us now on the Elevate stage is Jocelyn Galicia Powell, the proud owner and founder of 2U Auto. Jocelyn, welcome to the stage.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Years ago, when I started in the entrepreneurship ecosystem, as it's called in Wichita, there was this wonderfully dynamic young woman who would always pop up at the pitch competitions, who was always taking classes at the accelerators and things like that, and it was you, Jocelyn. Tell me, where does this inspiration and love of being an entrepreneur come from for you?
Oh my goodness. So it all started when I was like 4 or 5 years old.
Really?
Here in Wichita. My parents had moved from California to Wichita.
Yeah.
And my mom was a waitress at a restaurant that was about a block away from our house. And the owner of that restaurant was a woman. And to me, I had never seen a woman be like the primary bread earner for her family. Yeah. And I thought she was just so cool. I idolized her.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to grow up to be just like her.
Oh
so
my goodness.
That's where my love
wow.
stemmed from.
You know, it's one thing to be able to dream it and think about it, and it's another thing to do it. How did you begin?
So our business journey started when I was a freshman in college. So I had 2 cousins that were also going to Wichita State University with me, and they were doing mobile oil changes. So they'd go to people's homes and change their car oil. And I thought that was phenomenal. because one day waiting rooms and lines will become obsolete because of the way that technology in the world is going. And so I was fascinated with what they were doing. So I asked them if I could join them in their business.
Did you?
Yeah.
What'd they
I was like,
say?
Please. Well, at first they were like, we don't know. You're our
Right.
little cousin. But I convinced them, and so we went into this partnership, and our business was called Mobile Cartoon.
Yep. That's
You
where I
remember
met-
that?
Yep. Mobile cartoons.
And then that we were growing pretty quickly, and we got our 100th customer in our 3rd month of business.
3rd month. What do you
Yeah.
credit to that quick success of getting that level of clientele?
I think it was a combination of all of our dedication and our skill set. They were very good at fixing cars and customer service. And I kept up with the social media and the scheduling and the background business stuff. And so together, I think that we had all
You're
of
a
the
team.
pieces, you know?
You're a team. So what happened? You hit 100 customers, heavy growth. Talk about what were some of the lessons that you learned during that time about yourself and the company?
I felt like anything was possible because before I started, I thought that you had to have a degree in business and you had to have a ton of experience and so much knowledge. But I think that we learned in those 3 months that all you need is yourself, your dedication, and awesome people around you that you can ask questions
Asking
to.
questions. And you would show up and you would ask. You know, some people are protective, so they don't want to share too much. Other people are nervous that people will think that they don't know what's going on or what to do, and so they're not as professional. For you, you continue to show up everywhere during that time and really make yourself known in a space that honestly was pretty male heavily dominated.
Yes.
Did that have any impact on you being in rooms where you might have been and were the only woman?
Yeah, it was very scary, and it still kind of is. There's been a lot of times where I'm having conversations with people, and they'll say, "Oh, your husband's company?" Or little comments like that. And it's like, well, at that time I was single, so I'm like, well, no.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And I think that, I guess, desire to be an inspiration or be a role model for other women
Yeah.
that don't feel like they can do something just because of societal standards.
Right.
I want to break that.
Yeah,
You
well,
know?
you're breaking it. You are breaking it. So you're not Mobile Cartoons anymore. You're 2U Auto. Tell us about that transition.
Yes. So about a year into business with my cousins, they decided to focus on pursuing their engineering degrees. And so we basically had a really difficult conversation about whether we were going to continue or not. And I was going to be the one to either continue or not.
Wow.
And I didn't know about mechanic services. I just knew the business side of things. And I wanted to close down because I was so scared
Wow.
because of that lack of knowledge. But I had to really, I guess, dig deep and see what I really wanted. And I decided to keep going with the company.
What were some of the first things that you put into place in order to keep going?
People that knew how to fix cars.
That technical knowledge.
Yeah.
So you found them.
Yeah, found them, talked to them, and hired them, and we kept going. And then we added auto cleaning services and auto detailing. And that very quickly, once we added it, became 70% of what we were doing.
Wow. That is a great transition into an
Yeah.
amazing pivot that you might not have known otherwise.
Exactly, yeah. So it's really important to try things in business, try new things, because you never know which avenue is going to be one that takes you to a higher level of success.
That's
And it
right.
was auto cleaning, and so we stuck with that, and that's what we specialize in and focus now.
And your client base, you talked about in the beginning that marker of 100 clients in 3 months. Your clientele is not just individuals, you have corporations now as well, right?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
tell us about, again, that expansion and being able to service all of those levels.
Yeah, so we service fleets. So several of the companies here in town.
She said fleets. I love that. That's major. Okay, go ahead.
And then we also partner with large employers here in town to come onto their campuses and clean employee cars while the employees are at work. Because our goal is to make auto cleaning as hassle-free as possible. So we come to you wherever you are. We also have subscription plans where we come monthly and clean your vehicle just while you're at work or while you're at home.
So you've made it easy and you're experiencing such great success. What word of advice or piece of advice would you give to entrepreneurs who are not quite sure, who are looking at, is this really for me? What would you say to them?
Don't let your fears stop you. Do not. That has been the biggest that has been the I don't know how to say this.
You know what's behind
Yeah.
that. Tell them what's behind that. Don't let your fear stop you.
Yeah. There's been so many times where I don't know whether I feel like
It's
I'm gonna
okay.
cry.
It's okay. It's okay.
There's been so many times where I don't know whether I'm good enough to continue or whether I know enough or whether it's the right move or the right step to do something. Because as a business owner, you're the one making the decisions. You're listening to all of your mentors and they help you. But ultimately the decision is yours.
It's yours.
And you can't let your fear stop you.
And you didn't let it stop you. So from fears to fleets. She's here. She continues to grind. And we just appreciate you sharing a bit of your story with us today. Thank you, Jocelyn.
Thank you so much.
Contactless banking with a human connection.
That's a wrap. Special thanks to all of our entrepreneurs who appeared on today's episode, who shared a little bit of their heart and a lot of their hustle. I am leaving so inspired. Special thanks as well to Kit AV. You continue to allow us to have this spotlight on diverse business owners and film it safely. Thank you so much. And to all of our sponsors, we appreciate the ability to tell these stories and get them out into the public to be inspired and to inspire. That's it for this episode. You can check online extras at www.createcampaignks.com. Stay tuned for our next episode of Elevate.